on this episode of Black Men Unfiltered.
Up on their own.
So let me say this real quick before let's I have one more question. The last question of the night. I know it's going to be a good conversation because I had an opportunity to hear Anton Daniels. I don't know if you guys know him from La Peep Let's Talk. Talk
Oh
about
yeah.
his children. His daughter, of course, the other day, and it went viral very quickly when he was talking about his daughter. But this is the next question: are we loosely raising our children because of the trauma we experienced? Should we be more stern in directing their future?
Mm.
And before we get into it, I'm going to share this with you guys so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Let me see. This is it right here. All right, here we go. I'm going to take myself out real quick.
Oh, this is a good one. I don't know.
Correct. So she'll always be able to live in her femininity. And then again, she has great examples. Her grandmother, her aunts, her uncles, her cousins, all of them are being groomed the same way. We have a standard in our family where you got to move a specific type of way. But again, just deep down in you, there's always the possibility of what if. And so when you start to explore those what ifs, those are the things that you try to mitigate and solve for by teaching certain lessons and being certain, a certain type of example. But it's always the possibility. And if you force me to give a choice, and let's be clear, I have more say so in my daughter's life than a lot of these other people. So please don't even lump me in the same category as y'all. I will be picking her husband. Let's be clear. But again, like I said, if we just dealing with hypotheticals such as the one that Kay presented, I got to have the conversation in its entirety. And I just, I got to be real. I have to be 100% real on how it is that I see things.
So, Anton, I have a question. Do you feel like you're going to be raising your daughter more on traditional values
1,000%.
than modern?
1,000%.
What would you do, Anton, if your daughter, wanted to be with someone that you didn't approve of, and she's like, you know what?
Paint the picture. That could be a lot of different pictures.
Let's say it's someone who, I think the example you used earlier, like that you wouldn't want her settling for someone who makes whatever amount. Let's say that the man.
I'm okay with her. I'm okay with her. Listen, if you a 22-year-old dude and you make 50, 60,000. Right. You're not an adult when you're 18. You become an adult when you leave my covering. And until then, you gonna do what the fuck I said. It's as clear as that. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about whether or not you want to be a fairy. I don't care what you want to do. This is not based off of what you desire. It's based off of what I said. And this is the thing that I have to lean back into because I like to be a nice guy. I like to be a benevolent dictator. But nevertheless, I am a dictator, and my house is going to go exactly how it is that I dictate it go. If you decide that you want to do your own thing, which chances are you don't want that life. She knows, my daughter knows she don't want that life. But let's be clear. It's going to go how I say when I say go. When I say jump, don't even say how high, just start jumping. That's how it go in my dictatorship. We don't play no games. I didn't ask you how you felt. I told you to get your fucking room clean when I got home, and I don't want you leaving out the house before it's clean. That's how it go. From day one. My daughter get it. She don't play no game. She know who the boss is. All of this arguing with women and stuff like that, trying to figure out what they feel and how they feel, we don't play that game. That's not how it go. It is what it is, and we gonna put it down exactly like that. And if you decide that you want to go outside of my covering and you want to go out here, you cut off. It's as simple as that. I'm not playing no games. Either you're gonna do this the way that I say it, or you ain't doing it at all. You mine until you get married. I'm your covering. I'm your protection. I'm your daddy. And until you get married to somebody else, I run this here. It ain't about what you think. It's about what it is.
I hope the young bloods in the chat and even some of these older men paid attention to that last line about the father being the covering until she is married.
What if she?
Quiet.
I'm like, should I be nervous? Y'all quiet.
Yeah, what's the question?
What's the question?
Yeah, what's the question?
Are you on mute?
You're
You're
on
on mute, Dwayne.
So the question is, do you guys agree with what he's saying on traditionally raising his daughter, on how his father and his grandfather raised their daughters?
Ooh.
What do you think about how he's raising his daughter from what you just heard?
I don't see nothing wrong with it, but I don't rule with an iron fist like he does. You know, it works. You know what I'm saying? But I don't agree with it. You know, that's not my type of parenting. You know, my children, I don't look at my children as slaves and I don't have an ego like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to be dominant like that. You know what I'm saying? Like when you got to do stuff like that, it just shows a lot. I don't know. You know, that I ain't that type of nigga. And plus he got paper, so when you got paper, you can do that.
But I think the funny thing is
that he's saying sounds good, and it sounds good in theory. But I think in reality, what's going to happen, he's going to have a tight hold on it. I saw enough friends in college that had this type of situation. He's going to keep the tight hold on her. And as soon as she gets out, I have a first cousin like this too. Tony knows her. She popped off like a spring. They homeschooled her. They did everything, kind of all the same stuff that he was saying. And what is it you said, Dwayne? Throwing it from the free throw line? As soon as she got out and got into her own, was able to be around boys and that type of thing, I mean, it was buck wow, because they didn't allow her at all, like any type of freedoms. So I think in theory, to think that you ruled her with an iron fist and all that good stuff, I think it sounds good. But I think in actuality, a lot of times you can make those kids almost resent you. And like I said, it's like a spring. Anytime you keep a spring tightly closed like that, as soon as you let it go, it's gonna be buck wow. And I think it can either go two ways. You got it may go okay, depending on the type of child, or you may end up.
Hey, dude must be rich or something. Dude rich.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
But the funny thing is, Anton goes on and he talks about oftentimes on the Lapeep Network, which I've seen that clip. Anton talks about and I'm just the positioning here. He talks about how women are conditionally feminine, and that's fake, right? But here he is talking about conditional love. Because once his daughter doesn't do what the fuck his daughter is supposed to do, he's going to cut her off. And it's funny to me how a lot of these men lead with money as if money is going to be the only reason why a woman is going to do in 2020. I make over $150,000. I don't give a fuck about your money. What is that going to do? Once you make over a certain amount of money, it doesn't really matter. My happiness isn't going to change. I think the New York Times says after $70,000, it really doesn't make a difference how much more you make. So who gives a shit?
Give me $1 million.
I follow Anton's Patreon.
So I love him. There's a lot of things about him that I love. I love the fact that he
add some more context.
Add
some more context.
There's a lot of context y'all don't have.
Yeah, I love the fact that Anton loves his family and he's his wife. I love the fact, but
Candid, let me respond to that though.
Yeah.
So if you take that clip for just what it is, it seems crazy.
Yeah.
Until you realize that he not only said that, but his daughter is going to be able to date. It's just that he's going to be a part of that process.
This is what who he wants. That's not true.
Let me finish though.
Assume that.
We often say we wish our fathers were more involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish I had my father to protect me. I wish I had my father there. And when a father is there, he doesn't present in a way that seems like he's more of a friend, but that
Yeah.
he has much more structure and authority than we presented. And the first thing we say, and this is, we say as soon as they go off to college, they're gonna pop off. They're gonna, because we assume that a father being that involved means that he's not also providing ways for them to understand life. And I think that's where we're missing it. I'm a father with 2 girls and 2 boys, so I know this. And what's funny is my name means stern. The name Ernest means stern. So I'm absolutely
But
of
can
that
I
same
share something
mindset.
with you? Can I share something with you? I'm extremely close to my father. I speak to my, if 2 days go by and I don't know what my father's blood pressure and his blood sugar is, I'm having panic attacks up in this bitch. I love my father. I need to know what his numbers are. I got to know what his A1C is. Like, we are close. We talk about everything. We're much closer than my mother and I. But what I will tell you is, there was a point in my life when I dated a guy that my father didn't approve of. I was living with a guy that my father didn't approve of. And when the situation got dangerous for me, when he was hitting me, I was able to call my father up and say, Daddy, come get me. He didn't cut me off. I was able to call my father because he didn't cut me the fuck off and say, Daddy, I'm scared. Come get me.
No,
and I would hope, hold on. I would hope that if he loves his daughter the way that he claims he loves his daughter, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I just want to say that if he claims he loves his daughter, that nonsense about being cut off, because my father makes a good ass salary. My father has paid for, my mother hasn't had to work for years because my father makes a good ass salary. So I'm just saying that I hope, I saw just a clip and I might be taking it out of context.
Definitely
so
are, but I understand. But listen, let me put back on what you said though.
Yes, sir.
You said that you got into a relationship that your father didn't approve of. This is why Anton is like that, because it's going to happen, right? And what Anton is saying is not about he's cutting her off from the relationship. He's talking about he's funding her education, funding her lifestyle.
Right.
That's what he's talking about. And I do think that there has to be consequence. See, we often talk about what we got to do better in the Black community. And then when there's strict measures put in place, we want to run back because we don't like it. And the truth is, if you want to be great, anybody who is at, if you notice, anybody who's had a father that's been hyperactive in their life, they are successful. And I applaud Anton. Now, we may not like his language, we may not like that, but I respect a Black man that's willing to be that involved with his kids and their relationships and their life and set boundaries that if you're going to screw up your life, then I'm not going to fund it, but you're going to always be able to come back here. And that's what Anton is doing. He's not saying he's cutting her off from being his daughter. It's about he's not going to finance those things. Because he also talked about college, right? So it wasn't just that soundbite. It can be taken out of context. I rock with Anton.
And you know what?
Which is fair. It's fair to take that out of context.
Right. It is fair. And I wanted to play the whole thing, but we don't have that kind of time to play it. But he's absolutely.
I just want to say that y'all didn't think that a man upholding the archaic rules of marriage just because it was based on the lining of the Bible, and y'all fully knowing y'all don't know the clip and are willing to allow him and his message to come across. But you cannot see a mother treating a daughter poorly or raising them.
Well, how's he treating her poorly though? He's not. He's saying
you don't know.
Okay, later on in the clip, I wish I could play the whole thing. Later on,
you got to watch Anton.
You got to watch
his
him.
life.
No, I know Anton. I know Anton moved different. I be watching Anton.
What's his name? Who is he?
Anton Daniels.
Anton Daniels.
At first, he took me off guard till somebody said something. When he said he was rich, I like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I see where you come from. Yeah, I respect that nigga.
Yeah, how could you be mad at him?
Yeah, he can afford it.
For wanting the best for his daughter, and like he said,
right.
He said it later in the video.
He paid extra for this motherfucking ego.
Yeah, he said when we're in college, he said,
he got the big dick in the household.
Yeah, he said, he runs his house. He said he's a benevolent dictator. So what he says, he also went to say, if she wants to go out and do what she wants to do, he's not the only millionaire that talks like. I saw a video of Ricky Smiley saying his daughter went to college and she got drunk and got a DWI, and he told her, if I come back and you go to another, he said, if I see you on Instagram at a party, at a get together, the entire time you're at college from this day forward, I'm going to come take my car. I'm going to stop paying your rent. I'm going to stop paying everything that I pay for you, and I'm going to cut you off, and you're on your own.
That's fine.
Because here's the thing.
Yeah, he did that to them with the COVID vaccine too.
But see,
the problem.
How we?
Exactly, Queso.
But the problem I have with that whole situation, I don't feel like you should use your money to control people. I feel like he's using it as a control a control tactic.
So
Like
let me.
I don't think that nobody. I mean, I'm assuming that we're all parents on here.
I'm not a
Lance.
parent.
I know Lance not, but most of us are parents, and I'm sure that I can. Being that we've had conversations before, I can honestly say that I feel like all of us want the best for our kids. And with that being said, of course, if my daughter goes out there once she starts dating when she's 45, I'm gonna give her some advice and say,
is she 45?
I'm gonna let her know when she's 45, like, hey, I don't agree with it, I don't approve of it. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be her to make her own decision, because at that point she's gonna be grown or whatever the case may be. So I mean, I'm gonna give her that. I'm gonna give her that opportunity to make her own decision. I'm gonna give her my advice, but I'm not gonna say no. You're not. If you date this guy, then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna help you. Because that's still my daughter. And even if I don't agree with it, I'm gonna still support my daughter. Because I wouldn't want her to just be dependent solely on this guy. So I guess it's different perspectives and different ways you can look at it. But I feel like he's a little, because I've heard him also speak on his wife at one point, and he's kind of like the same way with his wife. I think he was talking about like his wife being a representation of him. So when she steps out that door, she's representing his name, and he's not gonna. She has to wear certain things. And it was like some stuff like that, or whatever. And I had to talk with my wife, and I felt like, I was like, man, I think he's a little bit much. And even if I was a millionaire, I don't think I still would be that controlling over my situation. Like I said, I don't think anyone can sit up here and say that they don't want the best for their kids. I would like to think that all of us do. And but I feel like he's definitely using his power, his money. He's equating his money to power, and he's using that to control his entire household. And I don't agree with that.
He doing something right.
You know what? One of the things that he said was, if his daughter decides to go to college, it has to be something she goes to college for. It has to be something that him and his wife have written, that he has a list of things that will make her financially stable in the world. He said if she goes off that list, he's not paying for it. He said, if you want to go do, ballerina, I'm not paying for it. If you want to go do the stuff that's not going to pay you the money, I'm not paying for it. You pay for it yourself.
And that's fine, because there are other avenues to pay for college. So that's perfectly fine. She can still get a degree without that. But like Megan's brother, has a degree in a bachelor's in history, and he's a VP of a big, huge company, a history bachelor's degree. So it doesn't matter what you go to college for. People don't care about what your degree is in, as long as you have a degree.
But the thing about it is, but see, here's the problem with that.
Like I said, Megan's brother has a degree in history, and he's a VP.
But I can cite anecdotal evidence too, but largely in general, that's not true.
My point is that you can still become successful just by having a basic degree. Like he would think with a history.
Yeah,
that's absolutely true. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know.